My name is Fatima Salim. I am the last country I served Peace Corps was in Botswana from 2009 to 2011.
My name is Jim Lawler. I was in Botswana from 1979 to 1982, and I was posted in Hansi, which is in the Kalahari, with my wife. My wife ran the lab at the hospital, and we had some friends come into town on a Friday afternoon, and I had finished work, and I went to round her up to get her to come and spend some time with these people that we knew. And about the time I got to the hospital, a truck driver got hit by a truck, and he was in a bad way, and I was her emergency blood supply because I'm O positive. And so basically she got me on the table, got my pint of blood, and then to process the blood, to test it, she had to have electricity. And the way you did that in Botswana was you cranked up the Lister motor, which was the generator, and that's how you got electricity. So my job then, after I gave blood, was to go and crank that up, and I'd never done one before. And it was a hand crank thing. So you put the crank on the shaft, and you flip the switch on, and you cranked up the motor. And what you had to do was snatch the handle off really quick so it wouldn't fly off the shaft. Well, I was in a little teeny hut, and I'd never started one up before, so wasn't quick enough, taking the shaft off. So I got out of the hut and closed the door real quick and waited for it to clang around inside the hut. And so we got that started, and then her blood supply was the prisoners at the local prison. And so after that, the driver had already gone home for the day, and so then I had to go drive to the prison to round up prisoners with the right blood type, so that we could get more blood. And so that was my job next, was to get a guard and to get a couple of prisoners and bring them over. So unfortunately, he made it through the night, but that was about it. So it was all in vain, but we gave it the good old college try.
Okay. My name is Debbie Lawler. I was in Botswana from 1979 to 1982, and I was in the village of Hansi, Botswana. I worked at the health center in the laboratory, and I often was pulled to do many things within the hospital, not just the laboratory work that I was trained for. And one evening, I assisted with monitoring a person in the OR that had come in and had been very cut up and had lots of tendons and ligaments severed in their arm. And when they were being sewed up, the doctor was just saying, she was trained, she was a surgeon, but not like a highly trained surgeon, and she had lots of doubts about whether this man was going to be able to truly have much use of his arm again. So he went through the surgery fine. He stayed in the hospital some days until there was no chance he was going to have an infection, was discharged. And I saw him about 6 months later. He saw me actually in this huge crowded shop, and he spied me from across the room. He comes running over, pushing people aside, shouting and laughing, and he came over to show me his arm and his hand, and he was wiggling his hand and moving his arm up and down, and he had complete use of his arm and his hand again, and he was so happy. He wanted to make sure that I knew that.
Fantastic.